The Baltimore Ravens defeat the Cleveland Browns 23-20 here. Not a great day from not a great day from Lamar Jackson, not a great day from Mark Andrews, but a team that finds ways to win is always a good team. And they did here 23-20 over the Cleveland Browns. Shout out Gus Edwards for coming back strong here, 16 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns for him in his first game back. Obviously, no J.K. Dobbins for the Baltimore Ravens. Aaron, your takeaways from this Ravens win?
I don't know. It was a weird game. One thing I haven't really looked up, like I felt like that offensively, it wasn't even bad. Baltimore actually possessed the ball longer than Cleveland did, but they just ran the ball a ton. It was just an ugly, I don't know, one of those battles in the AFC North. It was just sloppy. Lamar, but he only threw 16 times. It wasn't your typical Lamar day. He ran the ball a little bit more, 10 carries, but they bottled him up pretty good. Cleveland's defense, I thought, played well. In order to shut out Mark Andrews, you have to play well. So I thought that was impressive by them. But there are some times when you look at a game and you just don't have a whole lot. You just kind of plays out the way you thought.
That's kind of why I went to you with that question.
It's
I didn't have
there's not a lot here, but I'm not like making any judgment because it's easy for people to be like, "Oh, Lamar didn't have a great day." Well, yeah, 9 for 16. Nobody. How great of a day can you have when you throw the ball 16 times? I mean, you could have went 12 for 16 because he didn't throw a touchdown. Well, I'm sorry, they ran the ball in the end zone on the goal line instead of throwing it. Could they have ran play action and threw it to Mark Andrews? Sure, they could have. And then Lamar Jackson's day doesn't look so terrible. So this is what we do as fans. We look at box scores and we say, he didn't play well. He didn't play that great, but he didn't really have to. Like they just won the game. He ran for another 50 yards. That does count. Those numbers count on the stats. So I just thought this was a defensive AFC North typical battle. That's really what it was.
Yeah. Sometimes the games are just simple. In terms of analysis, there's not a whole lot. Only 4 players in this game had receptions for the Baltimore Ravens. None of them were Mark Andrews. It's the second time in Andrews' career he went without a reception. For the first time, for the first time since week 14 back in 2018 was the last time he was held without a reception.
One note about that. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was on him a lot. And we talked about the versatility of him. And he also forced a fumble yesterday. He is kind of starting to make a name for himself as a defensive player. And I know it's in Cleveland, so nobody pays attention because you got Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. But he has started to play really well lately.
I think if anything, if we're talking about like takeaways from this game and what to like go into and dive into, we talked about this Browns defense needing to step up. Obviously they didn't get the win in this game, but holding a Ravens offense to 23 points when they had Rashad Bateman back, they had Mark Andrews, they had Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards was doing what he was doing.
Deion Jones played though. That was his first game in.
Yeah.
Cleveland. I hate when I freeze, but we had talked about Deion Jones' first game back. Obviously, Cleveland has the names on defense. We've talked about just underperforming, but when you look at their roster, you're like, this should be one of the best defenses in football. And they played well yesterday, so you have to give them some credit. Yeah. Having that AFC North, the type of football that this division is accustomed to playing, that's what this game was. It was just sloppy. It was who ran the ball a little bit better, and at the end of the day, it was Baltimore that got the late win. They ran for more yards, and they were able to make some plays when it mattered most. But it was a win. They got a win in a division game. That's always tough. So shout out to them, and Cleveland falls again.
Yeah, that's the tough part for the Browns. There does have to be a loser in a game that didn't have much deep analysis for. They moved to 2-5. The Ravens moved to 4-3. Next up for the Browns, they host the Cincinnati Bengals on Monday Night Football, and the Ravens have the Bucs on Thursday Night Football. 2 teams that are going to go play primetime next week.